Welcome to the Loveland Ford and Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, and we are going to give you all of your real estate and mortgage news. The Lone Ranger is here with me.
We're here, my
going
friend.
through all that. Some spring numbers. I've got doomsayers talking about a crash. Obviously, they still live at home in their mom's basement. We're going to talk about tips on getting your management properties to produce for you.
We're also going to talk about what interest rates are doing, what's happening in the market right now, because there is a lot of unknown things happening in the market right now. And I think people just need to get a handle on what can I expect? What are the direction things are going in? When you don't know what's happening, you don't make decisions.
Yep.
If you don't feel comfortable, you don't make decisions. But right now, we're seeing some major opportunities in the market. And I want to dispel some myths in this show today. So we're going to talk a lot about that so you can come up with a great strategy so that you can stay in the market instead of sitting on the sidelines and letting the rest of us make money.
I just think everybody's got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing. Even if you just bought a house, what does that look like? I'll sit down with people, Bruce, and they'll talk about, we want to do this and that. And I'm like, how long do you think you'll be in this fall? The kids will be out of high school in 3 years. You think you'll upsize or downsize? What's going on with you? A lot of people don't think that. And most realtors are just wanting to get a contract signed to sell or to buy a listing. They're not helping people with their long-term plan.
That's very true.
I've worked with in another lifetime. I wish I'd been a financial planner, but now I'm on the other side of it in real estate, which is where most people have 50, 60% of their wealth anyway. So I like giving people that guideline.
Yeah, we're going to give you lots of guidelines here. So all you've got to do is give us a call. You can reach Cleve right now at 407-352-8118. Or you can reach the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144.
All right. But Bruce, actually, I want to ask you about rates, because that's the bombs have stopped.
For now.
We're blockading the ports in Iran. And what has happened to the rates? It looks like the bond market is doing a little bit.
The bond market has improved this week. We had a couple of rocky days, but the bond market has improved and interest rates are starting to get better and better as we start to end the war. I think that the market is starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with the future than they have been. And I think that that's causing the bond market to improve. And I think we're seeing some better rates.
You're still low sixes?
Yeah, we're still in the low sixes. Okay. Listen, I'm even doing DSCRs in the mid sixes right now. That's an investment property, no income. The only income you provide for an investment property is the rent that the property receives. That's it. So I'm telling you, it's a great program. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But for all of you that are thinking about buying a home right now, interest rates are starting to come down. Don't get freaked out about them. I watch the market every day, all day long, so my clients know exactly what's going on.
We just put a client under a contract earlier this week, and I told him, I said, totally rely on Bruce to figure out locking in your price.
Yep.
And because he doesn't close for 45 days or about 40 days. And so you're going to let him know when you think he should lock.
Absolutely. And no one can guarantee the market. We don't know. We can't guarantee the market, but there is not a lender I know that watches this market closer than I do. I'm on it all the time. What else you got, my friend?
I want to talk about this headline here. This was the headline I clicked on. Some of my news from the real estate site, Support Association of Realtors, Orlando. We should have numbers for the next show on where the inventory is at, the number of sales, and we're looking for 26 to beat 25 in sales numbers. I think that will happen despite the war or the lack, not really a war, it's one-sided. And I just want to know that this headline was talked about how New Jersey had outpaces the U.S. housing market, 12 other markets poised to crash.
Wow.
That's just irresponsible journalism. Like I said, this person's probably still living at home in their mom's basement. And I've seen this woman before write some articles, and she's just looking to grab headlines. And she just talks about how New Jersey, probably people fleeing New York, their average sales price, their median price is up 6%, which is pretty good.
That is,
and they've actually been in a buyer's market all through Sleepy Joe and all that. Now, then she mentions other states like Florida, California, Texas, the oil crash because their prices overall are down 2%.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, a income just needs to go. I don't know. She needs to try another career.
It's interesting but that's what they do. You and I have been seeing this for years.
If it bleeds, it leads.
And that's why folks listen to our show, because they realize that we're not just going to give them the great news. We're going to give them the real news. And I think that's really what it's all about. Not the fake news.
We're in the trench and we know what it takes to sell a house, what it takes to get a mortgage, how to get the best rate, what's the best plan for you. I just think things like that are irresponsible. And I have people all the time saying, we're waiting for the crash to buy. And it's got to be, it's just, there's no defaults. The bubble of 2007 and 8, 9, 10 was half our market, over half our market was foreclosures. There was 1/5 the sales we have right now because nobody could buy. They were trapped in their homes or in financial, just their finances were decimated, or people had gone all in on real estate, which I don't ever think you should do. That's why we want to make a real estate
we're
plan.
in the real estate market.
But
Who
defaults
else would say that?
defaults defaults are so low. Like people ask me, I want to buy a foreclosure, and I'll say, all right, there's 3 right now in Central Florida.
Right. Where do you want to go?
They're in
We
areas,
can go to California.
and there's
there
probably
may be
50
some.
bids on them, and you don't get an answer. You can put an offer in, but you have no idea what's going on. You don't know if the bank's going to even talk to you again, and it's just not there. So you want to
And
buy.
it's the same with the short sale too. I've
Yeah.
had 2 of them recently where the client went into a short sale, negotiated with the seller, agreed on the terms. But the problem is with the short sale is that seller has no control over how much they actually can sell the house for.
Yep.
So we got down to, after waiting 3.5 months for the bank to finally come back,
And they said
to
they
us,
wanted more.
3.5 months.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Finally, the bank comes back and they go, we're not going to pay these closing costs for the buyer, and we want $5,000 more for that.
And they should take that. If they still think it's a good deal, they should take that. But
Possibly.
that's another reason we don't have all these foreclosures. I grew up in real estate. There was always about 5% of the market was foreclosures. But after the bubble, and they started doing short sales, and then they got forbearances, and then people started using FEMA loopholes I talked to a guy, I wanted to wring his neck. He didn't get any damage from the hurricane, but he used a FEMA condition to not pay his mortgage for 3 months because he was in a hurricane warning zone, like
Yeah.
where the hurricane
I
actually
don't
blew through.
advise doing that.
And basically didn't do anything but kick the can down the road, mess up his credit for a bit,
Yep.
and push those 3 payments he didn't make. Just go to the back of the line. You're not going to get away
You
from
know what?
paying them.
That's an interesting point, Cleve, and I want you all to listen to this because this is super important. If you are ever thinking that you're going to call your lender
And get
because
something
you-
good done for you.
because you want to, maybe you're struggling with your payment, but I guarantee you, if you call the lender and you say, look, I'm struggling with my payment, and they say, you know what, Mr. Jones, we can go ahead and we can defer your payments for 3 more months. We'll just add it to the back of the loan. And you say, will that affect my credit? And they say, no, that won't affect your credit.
They're
Liar, pants on fire.
Yep.
It will absolutely guaranteed affect your credit. Then you want to go back and say, oh, I'd like to refinance my loan right now. You can't refinance until you're back to making payments. And depending on the type of loan you need, 3 to 6 months later, then you can, after you're out of the forbearance.
Yep.
So you're putting yourself off for 9 months to a year if you do that. So don't defer payments or go into forbearance unless you are absolutely in dire straits.
What's your phone number, Bruce?
407-250-9144. That's for the loan arranger. 407-250-9144, or go to webringyouhome.com. All the information you need, guaranteed direct lender. I keep most of my loans, 90% of my service. I've got every loan program you could possibly ever want. And our pricing is unbelievable. Why? Because we're the largest retail lender in the country, and we're direct. We're not having to go to another bank to get a mortgage like you would from a mortgage broker. So you always call the loan arranger, get a good solid quote. I'm seeing quotes come across my desk from other lenders that they can't possibly do. They're baiting and switching. I'm seeing a lot of bad apples reappear in the industry. We got rid of them in 2010.
Yeah.
But by God, they're coming back.
Well, they're desperate
right
for
now.
business. So I just want to say right now, our spring market that we're in I'm seeing more buyer traffic out there. This is another thing. Ask your realtor, if you're going to list with a realtor, make sure they got like the newest technology, like an electronic lockbox. I take some listings.
Not
Bruce.
even new.
The new ones are even better. They text me the second somebody goes in and says that Bob Smith is there showing the house. Here's their phone
great.
number. I can call them and say, hey, I think I'm getting an offer on that. If your buyers really like it, You need to send it today. I love doing that just to scare them a little bit.
Okay.
Wake them up a little bit. But that technology, I've taken some listings, Bruce, where the seller thought they were in MLS and they weren't. The seller thought they had the latest and greatest of everything, and they didn't. They weren't advertised.
They were wondering why they weren't getting
and they wonder why they
showings.
weren't getting showings. I literally changed nothing except for add my marketing plan. I've even raised the price sometimes and sold. So you got to watch that. But I'm seeing more buyer traffic, more realtor traffic. I'm seeing listings and inventory. I wish I had those numbers. I'm going to keep checking on the break here, but I think inventory stabilized the past 9 months, should drop this month. Hopefully we've had some good sales, even with the interest rates. Cause I saw some articles about how mortgage applications were not down, even though rates jumped from 5.875 up to 6 3/8, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And they're settling back down now.
Yeah,
So
they are.
Yep.
They are. We've had a good week. The bond market's done very well. We'll see how things turn out in the next couple of weeks because, you know what, depending on what the news is in the Strait of Hormuz, depends on what interest rates are doing and what a barrel of oil is going for. And when it gets up into that $100 range, you can expect that interest rates are going to go up right along with it. So we're really hoping we can end this situation overseas so we can get back into some reasonable interest rates. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, don't expect that you're going to see a 5.5% interest rate. The only way that's going to happen that I can foresee, even if the new Fed chairman were to get in, because Powell doesn't want to give up his seat, even if the
I haven't
new
seen that lately. Are they going to have to drag him out kicking and
I
screaming?
know. So Powell has announced that he is not going to leave the seat because there's still an investigation on one of the chair members, and he doesn't have to leave till that investigation is settled. So he's saying, I'm not leaving. So Trump wants him out of there, and he's saying,
We'll just say stop the investigation, then restart it once he's out.
well,
Replace. He needs to.
I suppose they
He
could
needs
do
to
that.
go. The guy's a nincompoop.
I'll tell you what, though. Here's the thing, folks. Cleve and I are here. We're here as a team to help you. We want to make sure that you're successful when it comes to your real estate endeavors so that this is a good experience for you and you make money. We don't ever want a client to ever regret a transaction that we assisted you with. So we always give you that professional advice so that you always have a team on your side. And believe me, if we don't like the deal, we're going to tell you, let's skip on to another one or let's wait. You'll always get that honest information from us because we want it to be a successful transaction. We wouldn't be in business for 30 plus years if we did not provide that level of service, that level of trust to you, each and every one of you. My name is Bruce Woodburn. They call me the Loan Arranger. I've been in the mortgage business for 36 years. I'm here to help you, your family, your friends, your coworkers, anybody I can help. I want you to be able to count on me for that. Call me now at 407-250-9144 or go to webringyouhome.com and I'll be happy to help you from there. Everyone gets a personal consultation with me. You don't apply and you just go to some minion down the road. You're not a loan number to me. You're a human being that deserves respect and deserves my attention. What's your phone number?
All right. To reach Loveland Properties to make your real estate plan, 407-352-8118. I'll be working all weekend or cleveloveland.com.
Yep. So we'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Refloat and the Loan Arranger Show. We're going to talk about what interest rates are doing, where the benefits are, how you can get into a home if you're self-employed. You got some great ideas for self-employed because it's tax season, friends, your favorite time of the year. And I know when you self-employed people are doing your taxes, you're barely getting them done in October of the next year. I've got clients right now that are calling me going, I hadn't done my taxes for this year. You mean 2025? He goes, no, 2023, 2024, 2025. All right, I got the programs for you. You call the Loan Arranger. You call Cleve Loveland. We're going to get you fixed up. Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118 or Bruce Woodburn at 407-250-9144. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.